Hey guys, I just sitting in front of a coffee shop after it closed early for cleaning, and there's this guy came like flying. He was like literally flying, and he hit a car who was just turning on his lane. But people witnessed that. A lot of people witnessed that, and people were on the front of it, so they saw everything. But nobody dared to get involved and talk about it and tell the police when they showed up. The two police cruisers showed up. I did not know that his wife was driving, because I saw the husband and his buddy. They left. There was a game at here at the stadium, a game or some sort of, maybe a game or a concert or something like that. There's a lot of people leaving. But anyhow, his wife driving like a man, like a NASCAR, like she's driving like a, F1, she's driving like, Formula One, and hovering, the engine was revving, and you could tell she's like in a hurry. But anyhow, this guy who was turning in, he was turning in their lane, but if she was not speeding, she would have had enough time to stop. But she was speeding. So the husband got out of the car. He got out of the car and he started giving him shit. And you could tell that the husband is very obnoxious. Talking down to him. And the wife chewing bubble gum. And she's like screaming out of joy, She got in this accident. But it was clearly her fault. But anyhow, people were watching. They just sat there and didn't get involved. And anyhow, the other guy who got hit, who was turning in the lane, when he got hit, I went up to him and because I was leaving, I packed up my computer and I was leaving. I walked up to him because he was standing alone and whatnot. And you could tell he's all timid, feeling like bad about the whole thing. But I witnessed how the husband shouted at him. He put him down, telling him, you're an idiot, you look what kind of car. Well, he didn't tell him they're idiot. He says, well, look, what kind of car you just hit? Which is very, and trying to put him down because, he's driving a shitty car. And I drive a Mercedes Benz, you know what I'm saying? And with your shitty car hit my, you know what I'm saying? Look what kind of car you just hit. Huh? Your wife hit, you know what I'm saying? Not your wife flying. She should have no reason. I'm pretty sure maybe she's drinking. Anyhow, maybe she's drinking. Because, I didn't think about that when I was there. I should have asked the cops to to put her in pressurize her and to make sure she's not drinking, because she seemed like the whole thing rubbed me the wrong way. And when I went up to him, when I was walking by this guy, by the way, he's from East Indian, and I walked by him. I could tell, he feel bad. All these people were like circulating around him, telling him, this and that. And I asked him if he was okay. He told me, yes, I'm okay, But I was driving, and how did they expect me? You could tell he, when he was turning, he didn't see this car, but because this car was flying. She was like in a, you know, he was just giving it. This woman was giving it because I could hear a revving engine. The engine is sounded like that, and when I looked up and I see his car, they hit it like, and when it hit it, her car went back. Her car went back. That means she was going fast. When you hit something and you bounce back, that means you really hit it with force. You hit it with force, then your car bounced back, Her car bounced back, literally. And then they pushed him, And then he moved the car around and, parked it until the police got there. Until the police got there, was in a matter of like 10 minutes. The husband and his buddy got out of the car, and they were just shouting at him, telling him, So when I was walking by, I was just leaving. I just didn't like how they spoke to him. I felt like bad, for him. So I said to him, "Are you okay?" He goes, "Yes, I'm okay." And I said to him, "That lady was speeding, right?" Because obviously she was speeding, and because I could hear the engine. When I looked up, when I see the collision, and the husband looks at him and he said, "Oh, my wife said to you, thank you for you buying me a new car." That's what she said to her husband, and she's chewing gum, but and you know what? I should have asked the police officer to take her breathalyzer to see if she's been drinking. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do that. But anyhow, because when he said that, and I looked at her husband, because this guy from India, the guy who got hit from India, and the husband talking down to him, and the guy was like, he doesn't want to. He's very timid. He doesn't want to say anything. So I told the husband, "Hey, you know what? You need to lay it off. You need to lay it off. You know what I mean? An accident happens. You know what I'm saying? This is not no big deal. It happens. Don't stop making him feel bad about it. Stop making him feel bad about it, because your car, you know what I'm saying? You're driving a Mercedes, SUV, whatever, But anyhow, and he goes, she started shouting at me and giving me a finger, and the police officer telling me, "Did you see what happened?" I said, "Yes, I saw this car was flying. I saw literally, I took a glimpse. And then next thing you know, I heard the boom, but I did not know how fast he was going." He goes, "Oh, the wife is driving." I said, "Well, honestly, I didn't get out of my area. I was sitting there. I didn't get up to get into." So some people were like looking, they were there. Then they end up leaving. A few people got on their car and left. And I said to him, the police officer goes to me, "Okay, just go stand over there. We need your information." I said, "Okay." And then the husband is still giving me a finger. He goes to me, "I'm gonna find you. I'm going to find you. And I'm gonna do this to you." Like threatening me in front of the police officer. And he threatened me in front of the police officer. And then he said to me, "Oh, you standing up for him because he's from your country?" And I said to him, "I am not from India, I am not from India, but hey, because I'm ethnic, you know what I'm saying, person of color, and you know what? I'm batting for what's right. I am not batting for him because he's dark skin or from India or from Africa or from any other. No, if he could be a white guy, I would have done the same thing. It's not about that. It's about justice. And he's like, you could tell. I said to the police officer, accident happened. This guy, and they said to him on his body, circulating around this guy and giving him shit for past, before you guys got here for 10 minutes. They were just going off on him. And you could tell like he felt like surrounded by these people, Two white guys against the Indian guy who's older, and you could tell he's timid. The whole thing is like shook him up. The accident shook him, So he tells me, when he lifted his finger, I said, I'll be yours. And, the cops, he says, okay, stop, you guys stop fighting. Just stand over there and we're going to come and talk to you after, But anyhow, I gave him my information and whatnot. And that guy telling me in front of a cop that he's going to get me, he's going to do things to me. Wow. Since when Canada became like that, And, obnoxious little runt.